Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Wilfred and today I'd like to talk about my favorite games in 2018. So holiday period, a lot of sales are happening. Some of you ask me what games I would recommend in this genre or that genre. So I thought maybe I'd do a video on some of the games I really enjoy playing in this year. Now, just a little bit background about myself. I don't play that many AAA games because I value the development of the game mechanic rather than the production of it. So a lot of my games I like to recommend are more the indie kind of ground and also of a lower budget as well. So the cost of entry is a little bit cheaper than some of the AAA games that could get a little bit expensive, which you may or may not enjoy in the end. So top of my list right now, and of course in no particular order, but the first one I'd like to talk about is the Book of Demons. Now, Book of Demons just came out from the early access. I participated in the early access. There's a free trial. I downloaded it and played it, and I was immediately hooked. The inspiration comes from Diablo. It is a paper version of the Diablo game, and instead of it's still hack and slash, but instead of collecting gear, you collect cards. So you build your hands accordingly. The cards have different kind of like a feature, different kind of type. Some are for different kind of classes and also different kind of rarity. So you collect cards and you get better with your character. As you level up, you can use more and more cards, and of course, the more cards you have, the more powerful you become. But everything is randomly generated. The dungeons are randomly generated. The boss encounter multiple phases are also randomly kind of like generated. And if you play a higher difficulties, they will mandate a certain cards that you must use to play the game. So in a way, your game is also a little bit random as well, because there are set number of cards that you must use, randomly picked up by the game, and the rest of it you can supplement with whatever is lacking in your hand. So it is it's a very good game. The really cool thing about this game that I don't see in other games is that you can decide the length of the dungeon. So if you only have 10 minutes to spare, you can just go in, play 10 minutes, and then you get out. You get a reward and you get out from it. Or you can say that I have a lot of time, I can play like a half an hour or 45 minutes of large dungeon kind of test of endurance. You can do that too, and the reward are being scaled up accordingly. So there's no penalty if you take a short game at all, and you can play a short or long, decided by you. And also the developer is very active as well. They have been like putting in new ideas and new kind of like a plugin that even the viewer can participate in the game in some way. So so I highly recommend you to take a look, at least try the game and see whether you like it or not. I love it a lot, and who knows, you may too. The second one I would like to recommend is something similar to Book of Demons. Also the artwork very unique, would be the Darkest Dungeon. So I picked up this game because I'm an old school gamer. I like the RPG of the old days, the DOS era, like the Eye of the Beholder, whereby you go in adventure with a team of people, maybe 4, and then you position some in the front and some in the back, and then you have the range and healer at the back, you have the tanks, the warrior in front or paladin in front, and you try to adventure your way through the dungeons. So Darkest Dungeon works something like that, but in a very modern take to it. There are different aspects whereby you can build your character, you can build your base as well. Your team comprises of more than 4 adventurers. You can have up to a very large size of the people that you can recruit into your mission, and you can level them up as well. You can train them. Sometimes they picked up a positive trait while adventuring with you. Sometimes they pick up a negative one that need to be cured. And if a character dies in the game, in any adventure, they remain permanently dead. So it's very, very fun because there's a little bit of roguelike kind of element to it, but it's not too punishing in the sense that, well, I mean, you may have lost your favorite hero, but that's life. You just recruit another one and try to foster the character again. So I kind of like the kind of game that has a very randomness to it, and I think it has a very good future, the way that I see it. Now, It Lurks Below is currently on early access. It's a game written by David Bravik. So just a little bit introduction. David has been the creator of Diablo 2, Hellgate London, Marvel Heroes as well. So he wanted to do solo, and he wanted to make everything on his own. So he designed a game, artwork, programming in hardcore C kind of thing. So it's a lot of respect for someone who's want to passionately still want to develop a game. And now this game may look like other games that you have seen like Terraria or Starbound or what, but the unique part of the game is that he fused it with the Diablo kind of like concept to it. So there are classes like Paladin, like a Bard, like a Wizard, Necromancer, and so on. And also there are gear that define the build as well. So there are ancient items to collect. Very much like Path of South, you collect them for your skills. It lurks below, you collect ancient items to form your own build and so on. So there's a lot of like development going on, and the good thing about this game, I think it is less about the game itself, but more about witnessing how a game is being developed. So if you are someone who like to just look at how a game is being evolved over time behind the scene, I think It Lurks Below is as close as you get to how a developer works on a day-to-day manner. So it is like a ticket to admission to witness how a game is being developed. So sometimes when a game is, at first is at a conceptual stage, and then anything that's not fun, David will listen to all this feedback and so on, and then he'll change the game completely, throw away things, and then reintroduce something that's totally different to try out, see whether it works or not. And it's really, really cool to see how a game is being evolved. But like I said, it is still in early access, so I think it's going to exit soon. But yeah, it's worth checking it out. Now, another game that's on early access, which I find it also very fun, is Chronicon. So now, Chronicon is a very colorful game. It's a 2D action role-playing game with 4 unique classes. It does play like a Diablo game. It has a very kind of fluid kind of gameplay. There's a different kind of skill tree to it. Each class have like 3 different kind of specialization. You can build your skill accordingly. You collect loot, and the loot will have some like very unique items whereby you just have the kind of like career, the character progression to it as well. And also when you play Chronicon, one thing great about it is that there's something called kill streak, and depending on how many monsters you've killed on the screen, so you can go up to hundreds or whatever. So it is very satisfying if you manage to chain all this like a combo, and then you come up with a huge kind of like number, and then with a lot of like XP reward, and it's kind of like very satisfying. I have a lot of fun with it. I think it's very fluid, something that's really worth checking out. It's still on early access though, but I think it's one of those games that I will play for quite some time to go next year. Now, this one is a little bit of a surprise. It's something very similar to Chronicon, but Chronicon is an online, is an offline game. Is at most you can do a co-op, I think. But Hero Sage is actually an online game. It played very much like Chronicon as well, but it's a lot more casual. The everything is a little bit kiddish in a way. It is not very. There's not a lot of deep kind of like stats or character development or gear development. There are still gear, there are still skill tree to it, but it's a very much like a roguelike kind of 2D RPG kind of game. So why is it roguelike? Well, you started off with one map, and you go in, and if you can survive, it's more or less like the Diablo kind of like Diablo 3 kind of concept. You kill a number of mobs, and then you spawn a boss. And then, like a Rift Guardians, you spawn a boss. And then if you manage to kill the boss without a boss killing you, then you open up another map that you continue to do. And every map that you go, you collect buff as well. So you get getting stronger and stronger as you go further maps that you go. But the moment your character dies, then you go back down and start from first map again. And there's an online version as well, so you can play with your family or friends, and each one can resurrect each other as well. So I play with my wife. I have a lot of fun to it. The base game is very cheap. In fact, I think right now it's at 90% off. So it's just a couple of dollars. But in order to say buy the later on acts or story kind of like to it. Then you have to buy the DLC, and then you have classes that you can buy as well. So I think it's a very viable kind of business model. I wish that Marvel Heroes back in the old days should have done the same with the story chapter being like a DLC, which I like this game a lot. Who knows where it'll go, but I'll probably feature this game sometimes in the future with my wife playing with it. So now, some of you ask about what about racing sim? So what kind of racing sim would you like to recommend? So a little bit of background on myself. I enjoy the simulation aspect of racing, but not necessarily I'm not a hardcore racer, so I'm not really good at it. But I enjoy playing the racing game without any assist to it, so no traction control, no brake assist, keep the HUD to minimal, and also cockpit view and manual gearing. So that is how I roll. And I think there are many racing sims in the market, but the one that's more casual friendly would be the one created by Codemaster. So if you play with a controller, the Codemaster games are very good. Like Dirt Rally or Dirt 4 is something that I would like to recommend. I play both of them. Between the Rally and Dirt 4, which one is better? Well, I guess the Dirt Rally is more faithful reproduction of the rally scene. The maps are all real maps and the location are all real. Dirt 4 is a little bit more arcade kind of thing, but with randomly generated maps sometimes, and with a lot more cars to it. So I think both games are good. I enjoy both games. So depending on which one you like to pick or try, I think you can just pick any one of them. It cannot go wrong. Now, what about other racing games have I tried? Well, I tried things like Assetto Corsa, which I think also a good game. But the problem is that games like those type are not very good at the controller. If you're a controller player, then you probably would not enjoy as much as, say, the wheel kind of like a player. But for Dirt Rally or Dirt 4, any Codemaster game, I think controller player, I have a lot of fun with it. What about Formula 1 kind of a franchise? I play Formula 1, but the only challenge is that Formula 1 franchise, they update it every year. So I have to buy a full game every year, and I end up buying quite a lot of them. So I think if you are a Formula 1 fan, definitely something worth checking out. But do you need to get all of them? Probably not. You just get the most modern one. I think that will do. But bear in mind that Formula 1 games are more technical in nature, so you have to be a very technical driver to enjoy the Formula 1 game itself. All right. So now that is more on the racing sim. What about driving sim? I think one of the most popular driving sim on Steam would be the Euro Truck Simulator 2 as well as the American Truck Simulator. Now, both games are very well loved by many people, and that's the good reason why. Because the maps are all real. So you can see that you can recognize the road sign. You can recognize the scenery is very iconic. For the European version, there are different kind of like places. You can have the whole Europe from the Italy to France all the way to the Scandinavia to the Baltic Sea, which is in Russia, St. Petersburg as well. So there's a huge kind of map to it. And for the American version right now, there are a couple of states that's already live. So definitely something that is worth getting. The base game is good, but I do highly recommend you to pick up the DLC as well, because DLC is what make the base game even better, because each DLC will add a new set of region to it, making the map an even longer map. So you got to drive the truck. The driving of truck take a little bit of getting used to, because those of you who drive probably drive a regular car. Is different from driving a truck, because truck you have a lot bigger cargo trailer behind you. There's a space, and the traffic is a little bit different, but you get used to it, and once you get used to it, you have a lot of fun just driving it. This game also have quite a number of random encounters as well. There may be roadblock or accidents or traffic police and so on. So yeah, I mean something that I do enjoy playing. And there's also online kind of like event as well. The game is not online unless you play it with a mod. But there's the online event whereby you can participate to deliver certain kind of goods. Like right now it's Christmas, so they have this international Christmas delivery event whereby if you deliver Christmas items to 12 different countries or 12 different trips, you can get a cosmetic reward delivered to your Steam inventory account, and you can actually sell it for real money if you want to. Okay, now although I said I don't play AAA game, but I cannot resist but to put in Diablo 3 inside this whole mix here, because I do spend a lot of time playing Diablo 3 with my wife as well. Well, I mean, it is a very classic action role-playing game. A lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it for good reason. So I'm not here to defend the game in any way or try to promote the game in any way as well. But it is a very solid ARPG. The graphic is very nice, although it's a little bit dated. The game is very fluid. It's very casual friendly. You can easy to pick up the game, but it's hard to master as well. And you have different season as well, and season will have season kind of a theme, season reward to it. The only downside probably is because this game is more like a maintenance mode, so it is not like actively kind of developed anymore. So, but I still have a lot of fun with it, and I think for those of you who like ARPG, give it a shot. You won't regret it. And if I could recommend, get the whole set as well. Not just the base game, but the Reaper of Soul DLC as well as Necromancer DLC. Necromancer class is one of the best class being implemented in the ARPG realm, in my opinion. So far, I play many games. It's so fun. There's so many build kind of variety to it. The interaction with the corpse is very interesting. I had never seen something like that done up in other kind of like ARPG. So definitely worth it. It's a very polished game. You enjoy it. Now, if I talk about Diablo 3, it will be a crime not to talk about next game, which is of course called Path of Exile. Path of Exile is one of the best, I think, free-to-play ARPG out there. The company is very ethical in terms of their cash shop, so they sell mainly just cosmetic items or inventory, but the inventory they give you a lot of slots to start with anyway. And they have the league concept, which is like a season concept in Diablo 3. They put in a lot of effort to make the game evolving every league. Like every league there are new game mechanic. There are new, like sometimes they add a new chapter to the game. Everything is free. They make the game so wonderful, and the hope that they have class concept, but they also give you the freedom to build your heroes or character in a way that it's just beyond your imagination. It's a very challenging game. The learning curve is very steep in my opinion, but it's very rewarding if you get it right. There are many kind of build options. The boss mechanic, I think, is one of the best in any ARPG I've seen before, especially the newer adds that they've added in. It's very memorable, different kind of phases, graphically it's beautiful, and it's a very fast-paced game. You kill things very fast, but they kill you also very fast. Knowledge does matter a lot. You have to really soak in it to understand how the game works, understand how to craft things, understand how to trade, understand how to build your character in a way that's probably fast enough to farm certain things and so on. So there's a lot of learning curve, and the community by and large is very, I think it's one of the most passionate and very friendly, least toxic, at least in my opinion, part of it. Now, I have not been playing this game for quite some time, because every time when I go into it, it sucked the living soul out from me because they're so involving for me to get to play this game. But I may revisit it again in the near future. Who knows? Maybe sometime in 2019. So I've talked a lot about some indie games all the way into racing sim, as well as the ARPG scene, which is more like a very nicely produced, both pay and free to play. I would like to dedicate the last kind of like last game to all the old school gamer out there who really enjoy, like for me, like really enjoy the old school kind of ARPG. That would be Hellgate London. I feature the Hellgate London videos a lot lately on my channel. It is by far one of my favorite top 3 games I would say I've played in my whole entire career. Now, I would not recommend the Steam version. There's a review, video on that. Why not? But I'll recommend the original US version of the DVD version, whereby you can patch up with the official patches for multiplayer and the single player, as well as all the community mods to it. I think this game is really ahead of its time. It is like a shooter, ARPG, sci-fi. You can have different kind of camera setting, whether it's a first person or third person, or even over the head kind of camera. I can't find a game like Healthy London. There's a very interesting loot to it. Everything is random. The dungeons are random. The loots are random, and you just spend a lot of time grinding. And then, who knows? One day you may find a gear that say, "Ooh, that is a nice gear to keep," and try to do a little bit better, faster. So I think it's one of the best games. But of course, it all comes with its own problem. It has failed many times. But the fans keep reviving it for good reason. So right now there is a London 2038 project going on, whereby the fans are putting a private server together so that you can still join the game as a multiplayer version. So do check out all these mods and so on. I think it's kind of a fun game, but do get the US original DVD version, not the Steam version. That would be my advice. So now, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for following my channel for so many years. I know some of you has been with me since the Marvel Heroes days, when I was just fooling around, messing around with YouTube, not knowing what I'm doing, what I was doing. But yeah, I mean, we've come a long way, and some of you are still coming to my channel and sort of give me comments and encouragement, and we do interact on Steam or on Discord or even on like other channels as well. So thank you so much for being a part of my journey here. And since Christmas is near, I'd like to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and enjoy the celebration. I'll be in Singapore for this season. My mother-in-law is in town, so I don't really have a lot of photos to share, because usually times like now I will share some of the holiday photos with you, but right now, because I'm not going overseas, but who knows, in my next trip I may take some pictures I will share with you here. So yeah, thank you, and see you next time. Goodbye.